going to try and run through to the end of the game and keep it reasonably short. So I'm trying something slightly different now. I've got some notes I'm going to kind of run through. So I won't probably be covering every single action because there's just, I want to get through quite a lot of turns because we're on turn 11, or coming into turn 12, 8 turns, and I want to kind of try and do it in under half an hour. Starting up in turn 12, we've got mandated defense for Italy. You can see the CP have got Hoffman in place, so they're less likely to have offensive movements, and you can see here this situation at the moment is fine. Like, Russia has nothing in the box. There's not tons of German armies over here. There's a huge amount being kept on the Western Front to keep it in place, and there's still a huge amount of pressure on Budapest. Strasbourg, this is the only place that's open really for like main attacks, and you can see here like it's still got the fort, but there's no trench there. They tried to dig in, but they failed. He moves in and takes his city on it, but you see every time you do this, you're just really exposed for this sort of stuff. It's difficult to kind of hold that. He doesn't have enough troops. British attack goes well, but you see he brings so many troops in replenishment, so this is where you can get a big problem, and it's really hard to burn them down. Like, I think once you get into total war, like if they've got, not necessarily if they've got Walter Rathenow, because he obviously doesn't, but he's got the 3 from there, so easily he's getting masses of armies back, so he can easily pay off his bill every single time, and you're going to have to keep attacking. So he gets Allied player gets lucky here and digs into Strasbourg, which is good. He can reinforce this now, but again the question is like where's it coming from? I mean, there's not enough Brits here to cover it. That can't go, so you could put, you stretch the line, but which is for yourself, but not for them. You're not going to be able to push through here, and I think the CP player knows that it's kind of a trap really as to what do you do in this situation. This is where the attacks from Russia will start to kind of scale up massively, so like big counterattacks around Budapest. And this is the thing, is like the Austro-Hungarians, you can like lose people really, really fast. The same with the Russians when it really comes to it. When you've got a lot of Germans on the front, you can start getting cut down, and then your bill becomes really unbalanced with the RPs because you've got loads of Russian casualties and like maybe not enough on the Western Front, and the Germans are like can afford to pay masses. I mean, he's got 9 or 8 in the box plus 1 from thingy, so he can bring about 4.5 armies, in a turn. And are you going to be paying that much if you just want to get Russians back? Because you're going to be paying the same as Germans, but your army's not as good. So successful attack there pushes them back. So he's lost that second contact point on Budapest. So that's pretty much it. You're not going to be able to take Budapest anymore. Not that it was pretty unlikely anyway, but having that pressure on, and he finally pushes through here. So this is a problem because you're starting to think these armies can get trapped, attached to Serbia, and you won't be able to get them out. And then they're trapped here, and they can just be worked down. You can bring them back later, but it's RPs and armies that aren't in place. So you see here at the moment he's got almost nothing in the box. So he gets the mandated offensive, which is really, really good. He digs in Constantinople. I always think it's like unlikely that someone's going to come and retake it once you've got to this point, because where's it going to be coming from? A long way off, so maybe I don't think he necessarily needs to do that. Doesn't attack, a little unfortunate there, but would need some very good luck to be able to push him off Trieste or destroy that army. Isenburg up here as well. See, there's not much up here, so it's a good time to bring down that army and start threatening the north. But you can see his armies, he's already starting to take more and more hits. So a couple of really strong turns, just killing off Russian armies one after the other. You'll see how quickly that thing can fill up. And it's just, this is the thing, the power you've got. Your supply lines are really short. The Russian ones are really long. And they're like cut off and attached to 2 different supply zones. So, you've got a lot of opportunity to kind of just keep whittling them down, and you'll just keep coming back faster and faster than they can, because you've got not just the German RPs, but you've also got the Austro-Hungarian RPs who are also all really close together, and this can be a really good place to kind of just smash them to pieces. And then once they've got so many debts they can't pay them back, then you can just advance your leisure and just work down all the key points, so like Riga and Kiev and stuff. So like even though Aleppo was like in a really strong position here, no trenches, like where are you going to hold the line here? Like what the CP player wants to do, they can just push through really easily. I mean, it's good because he's got a little bit of a line forming here, so that he can't use the kind of cores to move around the back. But you're starting to see issues of like where are those armies going? The box is just filling up, and the reserve box is now empty. So that's like 3 big attack turns, and we've gone from nothing in the box to 3 Russian armies, 5 cores, and obviously all the cores that are on the board as well, because they were pulled out from being destroyed by the armies. So you're going to have to refill the box with cores, which you obviously don't want to do. You want more armies out, but you've got to keep those cores up. So just in a single turn, it's completely switched around. And see, like, he just has to spend or two on bringing half cores, which is always fine. You can always bring back half cores, and then he like replenishes a bunch of his armies. But still, there's still 3 in the box. So that's, again, this debt is compounding, and it's not going to get any better. More attacks, he gets rid of wireless intercept. Good thing to do. Again, you can see you can get rid of it with just a single core. So some people try and kind of line up attacks early with like Zed army or something, and then you can get rid of it. Another dead army, another core brought out, and he's cut his deck, which is nice. Now he's thinking of RPs. He brings the last EP in the Near East. This is the only way you can threaten it, which is what I was talking earlier. You can, like, if you think Constantinople's going to go, you can SR a couple of cores into Medina, and once you've got 3 in there, it's never going to fall. So you can just keep it for the whole game, so you can kind of limit those losses. He just moving up. You can see it's like starting to push through into Poland. There's not enough Russian armies here to hold the line. These ones are trapped here. They're just going to be destroyed. Serbians are just sitting on Belgrade. He manages to get a lucky dig in here. So first trench on the eastern front for Allies. And you can see he's trying to push back here and just keep the Germans, keep paying those bills. But he's also having issues with U-boats. But if he's double RPing, it's less of a problem. It's more of an issue if you're doing like a single RP card. But at this point in the game, you're probably going to be spending at least like 2 a turn. And if you do have lots of stuff in the box, it's worth considering just going for it. Attacks and fails in Medina. Another big attack here with Von Francis helping, again, just pushing back. That's another 2 dead cores in the box. So again, things are getting worse. Timisoar, he attacks, he rolls well. Manages to take out thing, but that's another dead army, Ankle, because he's got the half cores, so it destroys the core, and you're seeing again we're down to two half cores in the box. Getting his mandatory offensive, that's good, but there's no good places to attack now. He hasn't even reinforced Strasbourg, which you want to do, because again you can push it off with a single attack. So, but where are those reinforcements going to come from? Like Verdun doesn't even have a trench, Chateau-Thierry doesn't have a French, like a trench. I think like this whole line, he should have single trench lines in place by this point. He's had more than enough time to dig in.
Yeah, that's one fine looking barbecue pit. Why doesn't mine look like that?
Again, just more systematic destruction of all of the Russian armies. You see he's moving up, just slowly hoovering them up, and now how many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 RPs plus 4 RPs, 16 RPs. That's a lot of RPs and like 1 French, so that's going to be pretty inefficient because you're only getting one thing from it, like one main army. So he tries to remedy that by making it a bit more efficient by attacking with the French. You've got to keep doing it because it's the only thing that will slow down the Germans. It's like spending more ops on this side. It's the problem. You kind of get stuck in a loop. Like, what do you do in this situation? You're either gonna, like a death roll situation where you lack the forces on the Western Front to kind of keep the Germans honest, and because he hasn't he's been trying to maintain that pressure but hasn't been able to sufficiently. Now the Eastern Front is just crumbling, and there's nothing he can really do in this situation to remedy that. Just more attacks. It's good. I want to keep doing it. It's still so far behind on the things. You're just not going to be able to get these up. And this is the thing, is like you can feel like he was in such a good position on the Eastern Front, but it's so tenuous. Like what do you do in that situation? It's like trying to find a defensive line here where you can dig in effectively, but once you start rolling back, it's just things compound, and he's just not able to catch up. And he's playing big cards on RPs, but it's too much, the debt. You just see, just keep being crushed by these stronger forces, and you're just in this death loop. So he brings Allenby into the Western Front, which is fine. It acts like sort of like the BFE, so kind of use it for guard duty, like only use it on attack that you really need that extra strength, because otherwise it will just get destroyed and you can't rebuild it. But it's good though that he doesn't have to put it on the Near East, where it can usually be like a good force to kind of push through, but he doesn't need that, so he's been able to do that. So you can see here, like, this entire thing is, apart from Medina, Italy's fine. The only place where there's an opportunity here is on the Eastern Front. So we get up to 30, so like Zimmerman can now be played. Start to bring in those US troops, which I'd recommend for those VPs. I mean, this isn't really going anywhere, so I think at this point you kind of have to make a decision. So what's the plan? Where are you going to win? And I think this is the problem I think the Allied players got caught up in, is he's just scrambling on the Eastern Front, and you could dig into these places, and you could get like a last offensive on the last turn where he just like pushes you out Cambrai, pushes you out Verdun. I mean, he's got those trench buster cards that he can use, and you're going to lose something probably, and it's going to be challenging. Another attack and Trieste goes badly wrong. Fall of Tsar can now be played because we've got enough VPs. Because he's taken this one, so he's back up to 3. So he can play Fall of Tsar because now we're over 30. And this is, again, the thing with the Fall of the Tsar stuff is, like, you can be doing poorly on the Eastern Front for, like, a really long time, and then suddenly you decide to kick into gear, you get enough armies over there, and the Russians just melt away. And this has been, like 2 turns, and they've gone from all, like, up here and, like completely out on the board, and now they are like 14 down, 18 down, and the Germans are 1 corps. Yeah, it's nuts. You can see how much the high point of the Eastern Front is done. It's absolutely cooked. But what do you do in this situation? I mean, you can't just dig in and like hope for the best. I mean, you can try and build some roadblocks over the time. Dig in on the Western Front. Have you got enough VPs? You can probably calculate it in your head. Have you got enough to win? And that's where stuff like the miss VPs, like can really be the. If everything's just set, like you're going to lose the whole of the Eastern Front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So you're like mentally you're just like I've lost that. Belgrade's probably going to go. Sofia's going to be recaptured. So 7. If I can hold Italy. If I can hold where I am on the Western Front, what's my, and I've got this as well, like what's the math that I need to do to make this work? More attacking. It's good, it's good, like it's trying, but again, you just like 2 cards per turn spent on RPs, and you're not going to be able to match that and bring them back with this rate of wastage. So he's, see here, he's managed to dig in Strasbourg, so he's taking it back and pushing it back to Nancy. And so again, that's like, it's good because it means the line isn't as spread out, and you can bring the other army back in. This is all he's got, is just to do like big attacks. But you can do this, and you can put so many like ops on it, and it just let's say like best case scenario, you destroy 2 armies, and let's say you win the fight. But max, you're going to do 4 plus 2, so 6, and in 2 cards they've done that. But that's been you're going to have to keep that thing up, and can you even maintain your stuff? You don't even have a trench line. He doesn't need to push you out of here. Like, CP's already worked out in his mind where the game's going to be won or lost. So he's brought some guys back. You can see there, so he obviously wants more guys in the box. Doesn't need these guys here anymore, there's no threat to that. And bringing guys out of places where you want to maybe move people in. Riga starts to get threatened, like he just holds it off. But again, it's just like you can't take those hits. You're losing 3 RP on every single time. You're losing, a whole army, and you can't maintain that ratio against the Germans as the Russians. This is just the tempo's too high. There's too many Austrians. There's no threatening from here as well. Maybe the Italians could have, done some stuff and threatened up here to mean you have to kind of man the line a bit more or something. But there's just nothing. You're just in that death spiral. Again, for Riga. He can run to Kiev now. And again, he's bringing loads of guys back in, but it's just, how many have we got down here? 12 plus 6, so 18 still. And you're just in that death spiral on the Eastern Front. Yeah, Riga's fallen. He doesn't move into it at this point. I think this is partially just because, to do with the Fall of the Tsar stuff, you don't want to like push it up, because you've got, for Bolshevik Revolution, it's got to be more than it was when the Fall of the Tsar happened. So like he doesn't want to push up the VPs anymore. He doesn't want to take Kiev, Riga, Odessa, because it'll make it harder for him. So he's just basically like waiting until the card comes through. You know, or he thinks the south is going to definitely collapse and it's not going to cause him a problem later. But you see, they always start here, and you're starting to see Austrians turning up on the Western Front, and they can just fill some boots and go on some guard duty, and like they're fine in a defensive trench line. It's no problem. So he's really making the most of all his Austrians, because there's none. You know, there's very little in the box. So you've got another strategic redeployment. He's starting to think, maybe I want to like just toughen this up a little bit. I don't want to have, there's not enough troops here, but you know, they could support and push, like start to crumble this down, and maybe the German army turns up or something. Get the first US reinforcements again. It's worth, like, if you can, it's worth doing it in a stalemate like this, because it's just banking like VPs. I mean, they're not positive VPs, they're kind of like not negative VPs, but because you lose a VP if you don't have them in the end of the game. This time he destroys the fort, and he does move into it, because I think at this point he just feels like the south's going to crumble as well, so you don't need to hold on there, and you can free up the armies. You see he's already moving these armies down, so he's going to move them down and put more pressure somewhere else. He switches them out, because again, people can still spawn up here and then run down, but you know, obviously, like, especially if you have cores, you can kind of outmaneuver them. Brings in the Italians to Belgrade. I think he just doesn't know what to do at this point. Like, what would I do at this point? Like, I think you have to do the maths. You have to sit up and do the maths, and you can work out, like, where are my points going to come from. You're not going to take any more of this, so you might as well just dig in as best you can and hope that they don't manage to destroy Belgrade, or get those extra VPs. There's the threat building here, but again, it's just 3 Austrian armies, so it's probably not going to get super far. You do have some units here. You've got another army back there. It's probably fine. See, now he can shift these guys from to Mulhouse, because he's got enough because of the US troops coming in, so he can spread more out, which is what you want. He still hasn't played it a single time. He just keeps playing for VPs. It's such a strong card, like having an extra 5 in your deck. Kiev is dug in, but he can grind you out. Nice stack on Trieste, and he doesn't move up, because again, if he moves that army in, like, he'll come down and cut him off, and then you're stuck in there. And he can just reinforce it. He's got an army here and cores, and just moves a core down into it. Nice big attack. It's starting to burn it through, but there's not enough troops there. But you don't want to, like, see, look at this. I mean, Kiev's fallen, the reserve box is empty, and I mean, we're like, Russia's dead at this point.
It's the crusty burglar!
Oh my god! Why, you little... I got you! Go!
Stop! He's already dead!
I mean, it's like, this is it. 4 armies on the board for the entire Russian Empire. He's just moving up, making sure that they can't do anything silly and flank him or whatever. He's got the armies to do this. He's got to finish the job. Because if you take your eye off it as well, like, things can. They can recover a little bit, but if you just keep whacking them over and over again, it's where you need dig in trenches, that sort of stuff. So he's probably going to dig in here in Kiev, and he'll go for Odessa, so he's having a whack. Goes for Udine as well, but flops the roll. Romania comes in, so because the fall of the Tsar hasn't happened yet, like, you might as well get it in, and then they had, like, you get 1 VP instead of 3, but these VPs you can still take, so you still get the 3, but you've actually got to work for them, and you'll just do it and take them, but like, that's more work they've got to do, so it's a speed bump. and gets a useless cargo deck. High Seas Fleet, always worth holding on to and just playing it. At some point when you're pretty sure they don't have it, like make sure they've discarded it and you get that free VP. So easy to line up. Just wait. I mean, as the allies, you may even want to just hold on to it. Like if you think that single VP is going to be important, which always can be. So again, he's killing lots of Germans, but he's got 3 stacked back here, and this line isn't going anywhere. Just keep reinforcing it. Odessa falls. He uses the trench buster on the Russians, and Odessa falls. Well, Odessa's under siege. But he just destroys the fort, captures it. So you can really like rattle through these really fast. Just trying, but it's just, I mean, I don't know. Like I'm not sure he did. Situation destroys the Serbian army, moves up. More dead units. Cambrai. He starts to decide on, I actually need to dig in, which, yes, you do. You definitely should have done that a while ago. I mean, it's not like, CP's been super aggressive on the Western Front, but, you should be digging in. And finishes the digging in Strasbourg, so he's nearly got 2 trench line everywhere apart from Metz. More US enforcement's good. He plays the treaty event. So the Bolshevik Revolution, and then play the treaty immediately. You cooked. Brussels. And now what's going to happen? Like, right, so we're just going to run through the attacks. He's just finishing off. He's just going to take. That's the 2 VPs got. This isn't going anywhere. Not forgetting Antwerp. So now he can just get that one. And he's taking back Sofia. And we've got to the end, so the Allies have resigned. Okay, so I wanted to run through that pretty fast, just because, like when you get to the late stage, and I think this is where some people kind of, like, you just get cooked mentally. It's like, it's just like, as the AP, it's like 4 turns of basically being battered. For 6 turns, they've just been completely battered. And like, look at this box. I mean, this is like all Russians are completely dead, and there wasn't very little he could do to stop that. You can do some more digging stuff and draw lines and whatever. Like, I don't know what you do in that situation. Like, move back faster. Let's try and start to dig in somewhere, like up in the north, and try and use your short supply lines. It's probably the way to go. But wherever you go, the Germans will just turn up and they'll smash you to pieces. It's more about like how long it takes them to do it. If they want to, if all their armies are out, they don't have any debt, they're probably going to smash you to pieces. And there's not very much you can do about that. Let's have a look at the board though, because obviously, like, he's gone up to 12. Russians have capitulated. He's took Medina, so this is all gone. So, I mean, let's have a look at his hand as well. I mean, he's got a trench card, so maybe he could get 1 more VP. Let's say he does. Let's say he takes Nancy. Or Cambrai, maybe Cambrai. I'm not sure. Like, one of them. Let's just say he does, just for the sake of argument. And so that gets him to 13, and it's the end of the game. Let's have a look at the score. Score summary. So, current score with extra thing, and so more than VP, so it goes to 11. So I think with those, if it stays as it was and he wasn't successful on that trench attack, let's look at the 2 scenarios. Without those 2 mandatory ops, Allied player would have won. And with those, if the trench attack did work, then CP would have won with 11. So super close. Every single VP matters. And there's two missed demos may have, there's a good chance they cost him the game. There's a decent chance they cost him the game. One I'd roll for. And I think that's like the big mistake of this. I think this is where Sankt is such a good player. It's like he just draws out those extra VPs. He knows the game. He doesn't get flustered. Like he was, he would have been down at what, like 4. So without the so that would have been 2. He would have been 2 away from losing, and he comes back. That's like 10 VP swing. He could have gone for. I mean, even Belgrade hasn't fallen, so maybe he could have focused on that a little bit more or whatever. But like I think the Allied player just got cooked in his head and just kind of lost sight of where the game was actually going to be decided, and was just he tried to buy time up here, but it just didn't pan out. So I think when you're in those like total war situations, like you need to be able to expect that you're not going to be winning on every front all the time, and there's like phases in it, and that's the phase where, like, as the Russians, you're going to be smacked to pieces, and maybe you need to think about just pulling back and trying to dig in somewhere with your armies and things, because you're just so strung out at that point. Like when you're here, you're kind of 2-3 turns of movement away from your supply line, and it's just you're just going to get cut to pieces. And that's where they want you. It's like you keep bringing up people, you're spending all those ops, you're moving up, digging in, and then you're getting cut down, and there's less turns for RPs that you can do in keeping that box. But I think this is where like it can really get in people's head, because like you don't want to spend too many, because you don't have many Brits in the box, you don't have many French in the box. You've got like loads of one army. It's the same. It can happen with French as well. It's like you have loads of French in the box, and you're like spending RPs and you're only using like half of them. It's just really, really inefficient, and that's where like the game can be decided. And in this one, yeah, I think it came down to those 2 mandatory ops and maybe a dice roll on a trench buster attack. Yeah, they're missing mandated ops, folks. Alright, I'm going to call it there. I hope you've really enjoyed this. I've tried to like sprint through this one quite quickly. Yeah, the whole game completed. Thanks, guys.